Steelers on Monday night. So the Pittsburgh Steelers are 20-0 against other teams playing in Acura Shore Stadium, what also was Three River Stadium. So I got my boy Willie Epting Jr. with me. And Willie, if you give me 1 second, I'm going to be able to go ahead and plug you in. And Willie, what's going on, sir? How you doing today?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Something's weird.
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine, but I don't know. Anyway, what's happening?
Nothing, man. How are you?
I'm a lot of bummed.
Why?
38-10.
Oh, I mean, sometimes things like that is gonna happen.
Yeah. What's up with you?
We are really excited here, man. We are
Really?
really excited here in Cleveland
Tell me why.
because the Cleveland Browns are going to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers tonight in 2 hours and 15 minutes in Pittsburgh.
Right.
So we're anticipating a great game. We're anticipating the Cleveland Browns winning and being able to go 2-0 since 1993. That's a long time. That was when my sister graduated from high school, and she just had her 30-year reunion just recently. But the first time in 30 years they'd be able to start out 2-0, which is pretty sad.
That's pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
So everybody here in Cleveland is really excited. Everybody got on their Browns gear when you see them and stuff like that. So we're really excited about our chances and very optimistic about what the Cleveland Browns offense and defense can do against Pittsburgh and be the first team to beat them on Monday Night Football because they're 20-0.
Wait a minute. The Steelers are 20-0 on Monday Night Football?
That is correct, sir.
That can't be right. Are you serious?
Yeah, no, I'm serious.
You know, the Raiders used to have a very, very good record on Monday Night Football, too. I didn't know that the Steelers were 20-0. That's
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. They're
Wow.
20-0.
Mm.
Yep.
And
But go ahead.
this game is being played at the Confluence.
Acrisure, you mean?
Oh, well, I thought it was in Pittsburgh. It's in
Yeah, it's
Cleveland.
in Pittsburgh. It's called Acrisure now, no longer Three Rivers.
No,
But
no,
it was
no. That's what I'm
uh,
saying. The stadium is at the Confluence.
of what?
But the Monongahela, the Allegheny, and whatever the other one is. So it's through whatever the third river is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it was this good party place at Ohio State called Confluence Park, and we used to have a good time at that place.
Did you really?
Yeah, I don't know if it exists anymore, but we used to party hard there.
Did you really?
We did. Confluence Park. How was your weekend, Willie?
Very, very, very uneventful.
Okay.
I got a chance to watch a lot of football on Saturday.
Yeah, man.
We took Patrice out to her birthday lunch.
Yes, happy birthday, Miss Patrice.
Yes, after she ain't here, but anyway. So after that, I mean, we did that after church, and then I wasn't feeling well, so then we came home and I watched the second set of games, and that was basically it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's get into your Raiders right quick. What happened with your Raiders, man?
Who?
Your Raiders.
Who?
Oh, okay. You doing them like that? You don't know who they are no more?
I think it's a bad connection. Hold on a second. Hold on. There's a really bad connection.
I don't know if it's a bad connection as much as it's a bad team.
Really, really, really bad connection. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, really bad connection. Let me do that again.
Well, they won last week.
One more time. Whoops.
They're at least 1-1.
No, but I mean, okay. Listen. All right. Since you asked the question, right?
Yeah.
I had a bit of an argument with my Commitment to Excellence podcast co-host, Darian Hopkins. Well, not really an argument, but it's going to be an argument this Friday. Because I texted him and said, yo, Patrick Graham, the defensive coordinator, must go. And his reply to me was, no, what coordinator is going to be able to teach or coach this team? okay, if I'm not mistaken, that's why they are called defensive coordinators, and the reason why they get paid the amount of money that they do. So it's not up to the players to adhere to the strengths of the coach. It is up to the coach to adhere to the strengths of his players. His job is the coach. The coach gets the most out of what he has. That is what separates the good coaches and the great coaches. And in this case, our defensive coordinator is not even a good coach. As a matter of fact, he's a very bad coach because last year the Raiders lost 10 games. 10. 10. No, not 10. We went 6-11. And of those 11 losses, I want to say 8 or 9 of them was when we had the lead. When we had the lead, Rachel, double-digit leads. Now, if you split the baby in half and you give us half of the wins that we lost, we're in the playoffs last year. We are in the playoffs last year, which was what was expected before they let Rich Bisaccia go off to wherever he went. I think he went to Green Bay. So the Raiders jump out on top 7-0, courtesy of a Jimmy Garoppolo touchdown pass to Devontae Adams. And then the Bills come down and they score, and then they score again, and then we score, and then we don't ever score again. And the Bills put up 38 points. Yeah. Patrick Graham must go. And it would not hurt my feelings if he were gone. It wouldn't hurt my feelings if Ziegler was gone. It wouldn't hurt my feelings if that other dude was gone. What's his name? The head coach, McFraud.
Daniels from Canton, Ohio.
McFraud. I don't care where he's from. I don't care if he low crawl all the way home. That's what our drill sergeant told us one time. So as a Raider fan, this is what we have to deal with on a week-to-week, year-to-year basis. And then it doesn't matter that we have, and okay, let me get back to the game itself. How in the world is it that the leading rusher in the NFL from 2022 has a negative 2 yards total? Not on one carry, not for one quarter, not for one drive, but for the entire game. How does that happen? Devontae Adams goes out with the concussion. Jimmy Garoppolo ends up throwing 2 picks, and that's all she wrote.
He threw for 135 yards, though.
Patrick Mahomes threw for 135 yards on one play.
They barely beat Jacksonville.
I don't care about that. I don't care about 135 yards is nothing. Patrick Mahomes threw 4 touchdown passes in a single quarter against us. And you're saying he threw for 135 yards? What does that mean?
He threw for that.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Just got to give it time, Willie. Just got to give it time.
Give it time.
Yeah.
Rachel, do you know how old I am? I ain't got a whole lot of time.
Well, at least the Raiders have won a Super Bowl before. We've never even been.
Well, we have 3 Super Bowls. Don't get it twisted.
So quit your crying.
You asked me.
I know I did. But quit your crying because y'all at least got some. We ain't even been.
Well.
So you got something to brag about.
No, I don't. I have nothing to brag about because nobody cares about those rusty, dusty, tarnished, melted Super Bowl trophies. The last one that we got was in 1983.
Hey, a Super Bowl is a Super Bowl.
I don't want
to tell that to the 4 teams that ain't never been before and won.
Well,
ain't never won.
I'm saying this for a reason because that's what Cowboys fans do, and I refuse to be even related or even put in the same conversation as a Cowboys fan, because as we know, the Cowboy fans think that the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl every single year. And as soon as they lose, The first thing they yell is, we got 5 Super Bowl trophies. Okay, so what? Did you win it last year? No, you didn't. Who won it last year? That would be the Kansas City Chiefs. Didn't y'all play the Chiefs? Oh, yeah, y'all got beat by the Chiefs. Who won it the year before that? That would
Have they
be
been won it since the last time? Have they even been back since the last time they won it?
the Dallas Cowboys have not advanced past the second round of the playoffs since 1996.
Okay.
So my point is, I don't care about those 3 Super Bowl trophies. I'm living in the now. Cowboys fans, not all of them, not even the majority of them, but a lot of them, they don't live in the now, especially when their team does things like they did yesterday, especially when their team does things like it did in week 1 against the Giants. Oh, we've scored 70 points this season and only given up 10. Okay. You had Daniel Jones as an opponent, and you had Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell as a quarterback opponent. I mean, somebody tweeted that earlier today, Rachel. Oh man, the Cowboys have scored 70 points and only given up 10. And you know what I said? Man, please. Look at the quarterbacks that y'all have played. And then on top of that, how many the Cowboys have forced 7 turnovers in 2 games. They have 7 sacks in 2 games. Okay. But anyway, back to the Raiders. I don't even know how I got on the Cowboys. You did this to me.
You just sound a little ungrateful for those Super Bowls.
No, what I'm telling you is I am living in the now. And I don't want to be anywhere closely compared to any Cowboy or any fan of any sport for that matter, because Yankees fans are like that too. I don't want to be compared to any fan base that doesn't live in the now, that always goes back to the defense of, well, we got 5 championships. Okay, great. There's a whole generation of fans out there that weren't even alive when y'all won y'all last Super Bowl. Why are y'all America's team? I'm living in the now. Let's live in the now. The Cleveland Browns are going to the Super Bowl one of these days. And I bet you it will be before we get back there, the way things are going.
Good.
I'm sick of this. Hey, how y'all doing out there in Northeast Ohio? Good to
I was
be
about to
here.
say, you okay? So in the meantime, your adopted team, the Cleveland Browns, you can continue to root for us because they have the chance to go up to 2-0 and be possibly still be number 1 in the AFC North. So that's something that really hasn't happened before. So in a long, long time. So they have the possibility of doing that. So isn't that amazing?
Yes, it's very much amazing. Um, how? Oh my gosh, Mike Hughes, you shoot
He's so
shot.
funny.
You shooting a shot, boy. Uh,
He said, "Dang, Rachel with the fresh hairstyle. Brandy, look out. The kids miss me, Mike."
oh boy.
He told Brandy that the kids missed her.
Nah, he's saying he missed Brandy. He ain't funny.
He said,
Uh,
"Shoot or shoot." Mike is hilarious. We love you, Mike.
oh man. So okay. Oh, by the way, are you going to the game?
No, I'm not going. It's in Pittsburgh.
Oh, that's right. You did say that earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's all I got for the Raiders, man. Can we talk? Can we can we get on something a little bit more pleasant?
We're going to talk back on the Browns. So we're going to go ahead and take this first break right quick. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back. muted. My bad. Sorry. I was saying that now the Cleveland Browns can show that they're serious to the world right now, and show that that they're definitely coming and taking no prisoners. What do you think about that?
I mean, I don't know about the taking no prisoners part. I mean, they can go to Pittsburgh and get a very, very big and important win. The reason why I believe it will be a very, very, very big and important win is because it's the Steelers and it's on prime time, and this would be their second division win in as many games. That would be huge against a team that many people think that you may finish one spot above and maybe even up to two spots below. Um, so I don't know about that part of it. It's just would it be a big win? Of course, for those reasons that I just outlined.
Yeah, Mike says Honey come home as well, and he needs 30 fantasy points from Watson tonight to save his week. Go Browns. So Joe Burrow is my fantasy quarterback. And yeah, he might not even be playing soon. So I probably will have to have another fantasy quarterback. But I'm really getting no points off of Joe Burrow, but I am predicted to win my matchup tonight. I also have Najee Harris as my running back. So I don't want him to do well. If I got to lose my fantasy game, I'm okay. So I got 91.58 points to 80 points. So against my opponent. So we'll definitely see what happens tonight in the game. But I think that the Browns can show something to the world, because we've been a laughing stock of football. So I think that they can, be serious and, show that they're a little bit better than they've been in the past. So I think, it's an opportunity to show that.
Here's my question.
Yes, sir.
When it comes to fantasy, right? Um, and your fantasy team has players on it that the team that you root for is playing against. Where do your loyalties lie? Especially if it's a pay fantasy league. Where do your loyalties lie?
It's not a paid fantasy league, and my loyalty will always lie with the Cleveland Browns to the day I die.
Even
All
if
my
it's
Cleveland sports teams in Ohio State to the day
e-
I die.
even if it's a pay league,
Yeah.
you gonna lie. Okay. This is the reason why one of the reasons why I retired from fantasy league football. Number one, I was in a league and I won it and I didn't get paid for it.
What? That's
Yeah.
messed up. So they
Yeah.
lied to you.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad this station is in Cleveland. I mean, this show is in Cleveland and not in Dallas because they might have heard it. But I don't really care because they know I didn't get paid. That's one reason why I retired. Number two reason that I retired is because I just don't have time. I
Yeah.
just I just don't have time. There's too many shows going on in the Shakeback Media Group, too much networking, too much work that is a revenue generating activity. That's called an RGA for all my people out there that want to be business coach. I got you. And then number three, I just grew out of it, man. It's kind of like that favorite toy that I had as a kid. Well, I didn't want to play with it anymore. It got old. So I've won my fair share of fantasy leagues. I've defended championships. I think I've won maybe 3 or 4 leagues in my life, going back to 2008 when I started playing. So I'm almost like a dynasty. You know what I'm saying? I had 4 fantasy league championships in 14 years.
Oh wow.
Dynasty.
Yeah, Ricky Smith says go Steelers. Ricky, absolutely not. Nope. So whatever. The Steelers are trying to avoid their first 0-2 start since 2019. So that could be a possibility tonight. So Cam Hayward isn't playing. He's out for a couple weeks. He already had his surgery. Receiver Deontay Johnson is on the injured list. Amari Cooper might be playing tonight as Slim hope that he is. And safety Juan Thornhill should be back as well, so that's a good thing. Why you smack your lips when I said Amari Cooper might be playing tonight?
Because even if he is playing, he might not be playing.
Why you say that?
Because he's a magician.
Oh, shut up. I know you got some hate for Amari Cooper.
It ain't no.
I forgot you wasn't a fan.
Trust me, it ain't just me. Trust me on that. It ain't just me. But you know what's funny though? Is that after because I'm gonna tell you the reason why. Let me go back to the Cowboy fans for just a minute. This is the reason why they are hated. When they traded Amari Cooper, it was like, yeah, he gone. But then last year, when it was only CeeDee Lamb, oh man, I wish we had Amari Cooper. They get on my nerves, Rachel. Oh my gosh.
And it's funny because Amari didn't do anything too fantastic with his last season, but the 2 quarterback system and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say he was off the charts for us, as the number 1 receiver, but he was serviceable for the situation that they were in last year. So, what do you think Mike Tomlin's plan is going to be to stop the offense of Cleveland, particularly Nick Chubb, which seems to be a focus and priority for him? It turns out he really respects Nick Chubb and he called him Mr. Chubb. So I think that that's going to be one thing that they're going to do is try to take the run away from them.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going to stack the box. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers line is very formidable, and they've got some really good linebackers with Holcomb and Alexander, and of course Highsmith. We know what TJ Watt is. He can play the run, but we know that his forte is rushing the passer. Being without Cameron Hayward is going to hurt, but it's going to be a tall task. Now, y'all lost y'all's tackle last week to an ACL injury, Mr. Conklin. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, so that will make it somewhat evened out in the trenches with Conklin being gone and Hayward being out. So I think for the Steelers, for the Browns, they not only have to do it with Chubb. I mean, they got to do it with their other guys too. So the bottom line is this: is that are they going to commit to it? Even if they get down, are they going to commit to it? I have no idea. I don't know much about Jerome Ford. I don't know much about Pierre Strong Jr. I do know that they don't have Kareem Hunt anymore, and if Nick Chubb is getting 4 or 5 yards a pop, then that of course is going to open up the play action pass for Deshaun Watson and open up those holes on that defense, in that zone defense that the Steelers love to play.
Do you know what we replaced Jack Conklin with?
Some dudes y'all just signed, right?
No, he's a rookie though, but he's 6'8", 374 pounds.
Oh, that's the dude that went to Ohio State, right?
Yes, and he performed very well against Georgia.
Well, he's right tackle or left tackle? He's a right tackle.
He is right tackle.
Oh boy.
So he's gonna be going up against TJ Watt.
Yeah.
I ain't worried.
Okay.
I ain't worried. George says, I don't play fantasy. Why? I can never see the reality. I can see the reality of the NFL every week live on TV and other media sports talk like her and the Huddle, amongst others. Thank you, George. We love you. And Ricky Smith says, Steelers O-line is still a question mark. That might bode well for Myles Garrett. I hope not.
No. He's saying that's going to bode well for Myles Garrett. Oh, he hopes. Oh, he's a Steelers fan. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. So, he said he hopes not. But, I think that's a good point. I think Myles will be able to get to Kenny Pickett because I'm being honest, I feel like Kenny Pickett is a terrible quarterback. So I feel like they will be able to frustrate him and disrupt him. You think Kenny? Yeah. You think he's a good quarterback?
You think he's terrible?
I do.
Wow. I don't think he's terrible at all.
Really?
I think he's good.
Okay.
I think I would rather have him than Jimmy Garoppolo. I can tell you this much. I'm pretty sure the Jets would rather have him than Zach Martin or Zach Morris. from Saved by the Bell.
You know Zach Wilson's mama a crazy trumper too, right? You know that.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, she's crazy. She's made headlines for it. So
Really?
uh-huh. Yeah, she
You
a
you
crazy trumper.
you got to tell me more about that.
Oh, I will off air.
No, we can't talk about it on air.
We got more Browns talk to talk about. So,
Okay, okay.
but Kenny Pickett, going back to him, I think he's very mediocre. I don't think he's a good quarterback. So I think that they'll be able to get to him. I think that they'll be able to disrupt him, just like they were able to get to Joe Burrow. And I understand that the circumstances are completely different. That there is no rain, there shouldn't be no wet ball or anything like that. But I believe he has a small limited margin for error against the Browns and their pass rush and what our cornerbacks were able to do last week against some of the best trio receivers in the league with Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, you kind of gave him a backhanded compliment. And I understand. I mean, I think Pickett is going to be okay. He's not going to be Ben Roethlisberger or even Deshaun Watson when he was in Houston. He's never going to be that. He will, as long as he plays for the Steelers, he will be the fourth best quarterback talent wise in that division. And as long as those other guys are around them. But that doesn't mean that they can't be successful. That doesn't mean they can't win. Because he was responsible for a couple of wins last year, particularly one against the Raiders. Say that as much as that may mean, but still, there were other times throughout the years, particularly at the end of the year, where he showed he's a dog, man. I don't believe that he may not be a top, he may be a top 15 quarterback, and when I say that, I mean he might be at number 15.
Ricky also says he respectfully disagrees with me. When Pickett is protective, he's very effective.
Yeah, he is. He
He,
is. He can sling it.
he ain't gonna be protected tonight, buddy. Let me tell you.
Well, we shall see. What we got?
Yeah.
T minus what? 3 hours? That game is at what?
No, it's at 8:20, 8:15.
7:15. How's it? Wait a minute.
It's 6:30 here. The game is
Oh,
at 8:15.
yes, because one game is on ABC and the other game is on ESPN, right?
Yeah. I wonder what game is on ESPN. I gotta check and see. But
I'm
you
gonna
know
look.
what? We're gonna go ahead and go to break right quick. So you've been listening to her the huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Her and the Huddle on WOVU and 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and I'm here with Willie Epting Jr. And George just reminded us, so the Carolina New Orleans comes on ESPN, and the Steelers versus the Cleveland Browns come on the Big Daddy ABC, because everybody wants to see that game. So I'm just curious, why do you think they having two Monday Night Football games?
Well, they normally do that. The first
They
Monday
do?
night, the first Monday night game of the year. They normally do that, but they didn't do that last week for whatever reason. Maybe it was because it was the Jets and the Bills and the much ballyhooed and awaited debut for Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback for the Jets. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know, but yeah, they had been doing that. They hadn't had it this close together because I remember one year, um, Mike and Mike from ESPN, and then Mike Ditka, they did a Raider game that was the late game at, I want to say it was like at 8:15 after the first game. And the first game, the call, I think on the call was, I can't remember who it was, but yeah, so they've normally done that.
Yeah, it looks like they're doing it in week three, and then that's the last time they're doing it the rest of the season. So I don't really understand the point of doing this. While you have these two marquee matchups, as well, one is marquee, the other one nobody really cares about. But if you live in the NFC South, I guess you care about it. NFC and AFC South. So I guess you can. Is Carolina in the NFC or AFC? I can't think right now.
They're in the NFC South. Them and
Okay.
the Saints are in the same division.
Yeah, excuse me. So if you live in the NFC South and you support those teams, then I guess you care. But
I
they're
care. I care. I care.
shut up, Willie. You know you don't care.
I do care. Derek Carr, my man.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, my bad. Sorry, you care. All right. So, what do you think as far as the offense goes? Do you think it's going to be a running attack or a passing attack, or do you think it's going to be more balanced?
I think it's going to be more balanced because I'm not sure if Deshaun is ready to get back to throwing the ball 40 times a game unless they're down big, and no quarterback really wants to have to do that. I think Deshaun Watson still has a lot to prove. He still needs to a lot to prove, or he has a lot to prove, and he still needs to improve because he has a lot to prove.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would. I mean, when you have Nick Chubb, it would be really kind of stupid, in my opinion, unless you're down like the Jets were to the Cowboys yesterday, or any other team that was getting blown out. Um, it would be kind of dumb to just come out and just wing it all over the field when I don't even know if Kevin Stefanski like trust Deshaun Watson with that right now. And
Mm-hmm.
let me say this about Deshaun Watson as the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns.
What you about to say?
What if this happened? Because the last time I checked, Baker Mayfield was shipped out of town,
Mm-hmm.
cut, right? Or traded rather.
I believe he was cut.
No, he was traded. They traded him to the Carolina Panthers for a bag of nickels and some other peanut stuff.
Oh yeah, and Baker had to pay to get out of the contract
And
too.
he surrendered. So yeah. But what would happen? What would be the buzz around Cleveland if Cleveland goes to Pittsburgh and loses tonight, knowing that Baker Mayfield, who played very well in both of the games thus far with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, will be 2-0?
I don't think people would care. People have moved on from that Baker situation. I'm serious. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. I don't think they care. Somebody
Well,
mentioned it, but I don't really think that they care.
I'm finna start something in.
Well, I don't care. I'm over that. But Ricky says Monday Night Football had a record ratings for the Bills Jets game last week. That's right, because everybody thought Aaron Rodgers was going to be playing, and everybody thought it was going to be a good game. So George says per the TV contract on what two games are going to occur, and Ricky Smith said Baker Mayfield is 2-0. LOL, and that may be, but how long is that going to be able to be kept up for? Because next week they face the Philadelphia Eagles. So if he's able to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, maybe I'll be like, well, why we let Baker go? But probably not. I don't foresee them being able to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Do you? And that's on Monday Night Football next week. It's in Tampa Bay.
Well, I can tell you this. The Buccaneers have 2 all-pro receivers, and the Philadelphia Eagles, they have not gotten to the quarterback like we thought they would. And I know it's only 2 games, but you asked me the question, so I'm answering it. And their back end is injury riddled right now. So would I be shocked if Baker and the Bucks beat the Eagles? I don't think I would be. Now, would I be shocked if Baker throws 3 picks and they get blown out by 20? I wouldn't be shocked behind that either.
Okay.
Just saying.
All right, then. So we agree that, that's old news and nobody really cares here in Cleveland.
I think we could have a conversation about that next week, depending on what happens.
Okay, that sounds right. So, but they play on Monday Night Football. So you had to come back on Tuesday then and talk about it.
I can call in or something.
Okay, that's
Wait a
fine.
minute, will Brandy be here on Tuesday?
Yeah, Brandy will be in on Tuesday.
Why I can't come in with Brandy?
You can come on with Brandy. You come on anytime you want.
Oh, okay. That's the first time you've ever said that.
I have. I thought I said that before.
Nah.
Just when it'd be like 5 of us doing the show, that's too many people,
Yeah,
so,
that's way too many people. Yeah.
So, for radio. So,
for an hour at least.
Yeah, so we should see a lot of improvement in Deshaun Watson. It's not supposed to rain. It's not supposed to be no wet ball or anything like that. So I'm expecting his passes to be in between the numbers on target. I'm not expecting any of those, shoestring passes he was throwing at receivers' feet this week. I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting, yes, you have TJ Watts back there, but I'm expecting him to have some time to throw. I'm expecting DeJuan Jones to be able to hold his own against TJ Watt. That's just what I'm expecting. You might, you laughing because you don't think he will, but I think he will. If TJ gets maybe 2 sacks, maybe, if that.
Well, when is the last time we've seen an offensive lineman this big have any real success in the NFL?
Orlando Pace.
Okay, and that would be 2 out of how many?
The Pancake Man.
It would be 2 out of how many years this sport has been played?
I'm sure there've been some others, but today I was watching tape, and one of the things I was noticing is that there was a lot of switching, with the 2 tackles and the guards. So, there was a lot of switching when they initially picked a man up. So I'm just like, I don't know if, Pittsburgh will recognize that and, be able to disrupt that and make adjustments. But that was one of the things I was seeing on film today. So, I think he'll be tasked with picking up some of the other players, on Pittsburgh's team as well defensively on their defensive line.
Right. Well, 6'8" and almost 400 pounds. That's a big dude.
Mm-hmm.
And if he gets bull rushed by TJ Watt, and it can very well happen because it ain't always about the size, it's about the leverage.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what would concern me about a dude that's big, is that he's gonna lose leverage because TJ Watts, we know that TJ Watts, his fundamentals are off the charts. And you talk about, you just got done watching some film where that's all they do is watch film. They may not have a whole lot of film on this kid, but there's still film on him going back to Ohio State. So they can find the tendencies there. All I'm saying is that is a big dude. I mean, dang.
6'8", 375.
And he probably could win a slam dunk contest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, you almost 7 feet tall. So, like I said, he played very well for Ohio State. He played very well, in that national championship game against Georgia that we shouldn't have lost, but it is what it is. So, I think a lot of people are expecting, a great matchup against him and TJ Watt. And I think it will be. So I'm super excited to, see what he can do, prove what, OHIO can do this week tonight. So I'm very excited for that. The Bengals went 2 and 15 on third down conversion, so the Browns need to be able to keep Pittsburgh from being able to convert on third downs as well. They need to disrupt that protection, like Ricky was saying when he protected. They need to, I think, all out blitz a couple times during that game. And this defense is buying into what Jim Schwartz is saying. So, you've noticed the attitude, from this defense that they actually can get out there and defend. Where last year, they struggled as much. One of their weaknesses was being able to stop the run. So, now you got some run stoppers in there. You got Miles Garrett, whose, primary job is to, sack the quarterback. But I believe that this defensive line is better. And then also, you got your cornerbacks and, your linebackers. So I think that they're going to be able to, play effective defense. And if they play that defense at the same level that they did last week, I definitely think that this, we'll be able to run away with it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know about running away with it, but I mean, I think it's going to be a close game. I really think it's going to be a close.
I don't. I don't at all. What? And then they got the Titans on Sunday, and then the Ravens after that. So you knew about their schedule, right? Where they play their whole division before in the first 3 weeks, well, first 4 weeks. And then they have their bye after the Ravens game. So the Ravens was looking kind of good yesterday against, the Cincinnati Bengals. And I'm wondering if people are regretting that contract for Joe Burrow, but I believe he will improve. I need him to improve, just not against the Browns, because he is my fantasy quarterback. So I need him to help me get some wins.
I mean, we shouldn't even be having that. That shouldn't even really be a question at all. Are the Bengals regretting that contract? I mean, really, after 2 games and he's hurt and he was hurt all preseason and he tweaked it again yesterday. I mean, this dude is the way that he is able to when he's healthy, he's one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the National Football League. Easily, hands down, no debate, no dispute. He's obviously hobbled. And he's been beat up his first 3 years in the league too. So I don't have any concerns at all. If I'm a Bengals fan and I'm talking to a Browns fan, I will be telling you to stay on your own porch. Don't worry about what's going on in Southwest Ohio.
I think his calf is still an issue for him, so that might be one of the reasons why he isn't playing up to Joe Burrow level. So, Willie, we're gonna go ahead and take our final break. We gotta get a little OSU in and a little baseball as well. So we're gonna be right back. You're listening to Her in the Huddle, WOVU and 95.9 FM, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU and 95.9 FM. I'm here with Willie Epteen Jr., and we are talking about Browns, but we're going to move on and we're going to talk a little bit of OSU. OSU had a game on Saturday against Western Kentucky, and Western Kentucky was trying to make it a little bit of a game because last year their passer was number one in the nation for pass yards. So they tried to make a little bit of a game, but they wasn't able to score more than 10 points, and the Buckeyes won 66-10. So, one of the things is Kyle McCord looked a little bit better. I don't know if you got a chance to see some highlights of this one, Willie.
I actually did see a couple of the a couple of the plays. I mean, when you say talk about this game, what is there really to talk about?
Well, one of the things is, a focus for Ohio State was their offensive line because they had so many people get drafted. So watching that offensive line gel a little bit, they needed some improvement with that. And, yes, you have a lower tier opponent, but, any type of practice you can get is a good thing.
Yeah, but they still have the wide receiver, the one that's opposite of Marvin Harrison Jr.
Emeka Egbuka.
That dude is not talked about nearly enough. Rightly so, because of Marvin Harrison Jr., who will be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft next year. But for Ohio State against an opponent that's obviously inferior, I mean, when you score 35 points in the second quarter, they probably should have had the running clock and just did away with halftime.
Yeah, I know. Kyle McCord went 19 for 23 with an 82.6% completion rate, 318 yards and 3 touchdowns and 3 quarters of work. So Devin Brown was able to get in there and get a little bit of work. What are your thoughts about this matchup against Notre Dame coming up on Saturday? This will be on national television on Channel 3. I still don't understand why. It's Channel 3 here. NBC is. I still don't understand why. I kind of know why, but it befuddles me that NBC keeps renewing this contract with Notre Dame, and Notre Dame ain't even good. Like, they're terrible. Like, I don't want to have to watch Notre Dame on Saturdays on NBC. It's just crazy to me. So Ohio State doesn't really get the chance to play on NBC because last year the game was on ABC. So they're getting a chance to play on NBC this Saturday, which is something that they rarely, if ever, do, because they only play Notre Dame so many times. So I'm kind of super excited that this team is going to be on NBC. But what are your thoughts about Ohio State going into this
game? Notre Dame definitely has the better quarterback. And I wouldn't say that Notre Dame has not been good. I mean, they've been in the college football playoff once or twice too.
They ranked number 9.
They're ranked number 9 this year.
So 6 versus 9.
6 versus 9. This game is being played at South Bend or in Columbus?
South Bend. It was in Columbus last year.
It was in Columbus last year. So this is the first time that Ohio State has been to South Bend in since 1989 or something like that?
No, I think maybe the 1990s.
Oh, okay. I love the head coach from Notre Dame, man. I'm happy for that brother. I hope
Marcus Freeman.
Yes, I hope he recruits well and does well there. Ohio State is that team from the South.
1996.
1996. That team down south, not the team up north. The team down south. I got some. I'm not sold on this kid that you guys have at quarterback just yet. It kind of reminds me of what's going on in Alabama, and who, oh, by the way, Alabama fell outside the top 10 for the first time since 1912 or something like that. I don't know.
No, it's been before that.
It's something ridiculous, but yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a darn good game. I don't have a prediction because I really don't know much about college football these days like I once did. So I'm kind of on the fringe.
Well, you know everything because Mike has a question for you too when you finish.
Okay. What up, Mike? Is that the same? Oh, no, wait a minute. Yeah, that is the same Mike, right?
Yeah, this is Brandy's Mike.
Oh, no, that's, oh, gosh. But anyway, I, I'm concerned. I mean, I know that kid that Notre Dame has was a starter for Wake Forest, and he transferred. He got in the portal and came over to South Bend. And people are talking about the kid out of North Carolina. What's his name? Drake? No, not Drake. I forgot his name. Good grief! The quarterback from North Carolina, and the kid from USC and Williams, Caleb Williams, who won the Heisman last year, as being the best two quarterbacks in the country. This dude from Notre Dame, I'm not saying he's as good as these two. What I am saying is that he can make a case for being one of those top 5 quarterbacks selected whenever he decides to come out into the draft. And I think he will be eligible after this year.
Okay.
Mike, what's up? Talk to us. You gonna call guys? Are guys like Saban and Dabble going to have to adopt a new? Yes. I didn't even get through the entire question. Are guys like Saban and Dabble going to have to adopt to the new portal rules in order to keep up with the rest of the league? Yes, 100%. Because I was on a Twitter Spaces with her Twitter handle is Lulu Bama Cowboys or something like that. Big Bama fan, and she had other fans on her space. She invited me to come in and speak, and I said, yo, all you Bama fans out there, are you concerned about your quarterback situation? Because nobody really knows what's going on. Think about what you've had the last 4 quarterbacks that you've had. Mac Jones, Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Hurts, Bryce Young, right? So if you are, and it's a reason, or the reason is because they don't want to, they are so against the NIL stuff that they don't want to go into the portal and get these kids. And you know what? Since that's the case, kids not gonna want to go there. It's not gonna be. Yeah, it's not gonna be your yesterday's Alabama or your day before yesterday's Clemson's, because these kids want to get paid. Man, I saw Shedeur Sanders pull away in $150,000 Mercedes-Benz Maybach because of NIL. Now, you can say it's because of NIL, or did his daddy get it for him? Who knows? But they said NIL. But the point is that unless you roll with the punches, you're going to get rolled over by the punches, Mike. And that's what I think is happening down in Clemson and in Alabama. They're not, they don't have the most talent anymore.
Yeah, Mike said Dabo just refuses to do it, and Clemson looks bad. So, moving on to that, the Guardians lost, nothing new there. Also, that game, Colorado State, Colorado was amazing. Didn't go off here until almost 2:00 in the morning. Dion is the man. So, super excited for what that program and what they're doing. So, but their schedule gets, ridiculously harder. They have Oregon, traveling to Oregon this week. So, Colorado State gave Colorado all that they can handle. And Colorado State probably would have won that game if it wasn't for all the penalties that they had. They had over 200 yards in penalties. So, they were playing Colorado. That quarterback wasn't no punk. I think that edge rusher was kind of getting to him as well too, making some plays, and then he got that targeting call and had to leave the game. But Colorado State was giving them everything that they had. You could tell that was definitely a rivalry game.
Yeah, and let's get this straight, because this right here is this is cowardly, and it is ridiculous, because this should never happen. The defensive back, Harry Blackburn, that put the hit on Travis Hunter, he and his family have been getting death threats, according to reports out of Denver, not Denver, wherever Colorado State is, Fort Collins, I think Boulder. It is. No, Boulder. Colorado is in Boulder. I think Colorado State is in Fort Collins.
Oh, okay.
If these things are true, okay,
they probably are.
If these things are true, whoever is making these so-called death threats, you should be tarred and feathered. Period, point blank. These are kids. These are kids, man. 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. They're caught up in the emotions. Okay, kids are emotional. Football players are emotional creatures as it is. when you up the ante like this, whether you believe it was an illegal hit or not, whether you believe it was targeting or not, that's not even what I'm talking about. The fact that these are kids and these big old tough keyboard gangsters out here want to make death threats against somebody that was just caught up in the moment, whether you believe he did it on purpose or not. That ain't even what it's about. So stop it. And I hope they catch you, whoever you are, making these anonymous threats, because you're a coward.
Yeah, Mike also says Colorado State is full of crap. Coach Jay had his moment in the spotlight riding off of Dion's name. And I kind of find it unfortunate because I didn't realize Jay Norville was black. I thought he was white. So, I kind of find it unfortunate. Black
Not
man.
that matters, though. That shouldn't even matter. The fact is that, it's now that you even mentioned that part of it, it's essentially black on black crime. But you know what? Eddie Robinson III, who was the head coach at Alabama A&M or Alabama State, I believe it is, in the SWAC, had some not so good things to say about Dion when Dion was at Jackson State. And Dion, I don't understand. Dion has been Dion. He's gonna be Dion. Okay, we already know what he is, who he is. I saw the 60 Minutes clip of him last night on after the football game, and they said, Dion, who's the best coach in college football? You know what he said? Give me a mirror. Give me a little mirror so I can look at myself. Yeah. And then he blew it off and said, yo, it's Nick Saban. But we know what he meant.
Yeah, Dion is full of himself. That we can say that. Mike says black, white, circle, triangle, keep that man's mama out your mouth. That's low. It was a low blow. And with that, Willie, we are done. So we got a game in about an hour and 15 minutes. I want to thank you so much for being on Her in the Huddle. You've been listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU at 95.9 FM. We are out of here.
Peace.
Willie, we're so excited.
I bet. I'm gonna be watching, so I'm expecting the invite back tomorrow.
Okay, you want to come on tomorrow?
Yeah, it's nothing but for a few minutes. I gotta say what's up to my girl.
Okay, all right. I'll send you the link then when I get it.
All right, peace.
Okay, talk to you later. Bye.